right, students. If you are doing virtual STEM night, you missed my class, or if you just wanted to do it again, you can do it again or watch it again. Or if you decide to show up at 6:30 and realize that because of COVID, the Steelers-Ravens game was postponed to Wednesday night, and Mr. Demerance is going to watch it with his buddies. So this is the 6:30 performance. So understanding Wi-Fi in your house. Students, you guys live for Wi-Fi. You love it. You crave it. You appreciate it because it gives you all the wonderful things that your generation likes. It gives you the Netflix. It gives you virtual school. It gives you the TikTok. It gives you the gaming. It gives you the YouTube. It's Wi-Fi. But how many of us really understand it? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Wi-Fi is not like electricity. Every time you click a switch, no matter where you are in your house, you're going to get electricity. That refrigerator is going to run. Everything's going to run. If there are any master electricians listening to this, I apologize because, of course, if you overload a circuit, it's going to click out. But for the concept of electricity, it always seems like it's running the same no matter where you are in the house. Water, on the other hand, the line of water that comes into your house is only a certain size. If you turn every faucet on in the house, your shower is not going to be as strong because everything's been divided. Wi-Fi is like water. You only have a certain amount of it coming into your homes. We are learning all about Wi-Fi during this. Xfinity will sell you packages where they'll sell you a line of megabits that might be this big, or you could buy one that's this big or this big. Some of you that live out in the country and are on satellite dishes right now are realizing that the line of Wi-Fi that comes into your house might only be that big. And this is one of the things that when you grow up and have grandkids, you'll say to them, yeah, I had a hard time doing virtual school because I didn't have internet at my home. Your grandkids are not going to understand that because with the next 10 or 15 years, we're going to have coast-to-coast high-speed internet all across this country. But as we're living right now, we got to figure out how to get Wi-Fi working in our house. Now, as a scientist, you want to say, okay, science is making things work better and understanding the world around us. That is a very quick definition of science. So I want to make the world around me better. How can I make my Wi-Fi faster? Okay. My hypothesis, my problem is I want faster Wi-Fi. My hypothesis is if I take my computer closer to my router, which is what shoots the Wi-Fi in your house, it comes in like a water line into the back of your router, and your router is like a sprinkler and just throws the Wi-Fi throughout your house. If I get closer to my Wi-Fi, then I'll have faster internet. That's a hypothesis. Now I'm going to test it. We want to keep everything the same. My computer's going to be the same. I'm using something called speedsmart.net. You're probably seeing it on the computer screen right now. Speedsmart.net. It's free. It's the way to measure Wi-Fi, the speed. I like to use metrics, so I'll talk in metrics right now. For weight, we use kilograms. For distance, we use meters. For temperature, we use Celsius. For Wi-Fi, we use something called megabits per second, Mbps. So, you're saying, all right, Mr. Demerats, let's see what happens here. So I am going to take my laptop. Right now, I am far away from my router. Ping, what we're looking at right now is the download speed. Let's go. 1920. Those of you at home are probably sitting there going, wow, Mr. Demerats, this isn't that great. So, and just to save us time and energy, that is the accurate. That's pretty much what I've been getting all day. But science can be, so what I'm going to do, we've got 21, well, that's it. I'm far away from my router. Let me go close to my router. Let me take my school-issued 4-year-old MacBook Pro laptop closer to the router. As you get a quick tour of my house, our house, in the middle of our street. It's where we like to meet. All right. All right. So I'm close to my router. It's right underneath the TV. Let me retest it. It's going to be fast now. There's that ping. It ain't that much faster. So my hypothesis, and here's the great thing about science, most of the time you're wrong. So you keep testing and testing and getting more information. And every time you do an experiment, you want to do another experiment. 23. Students, some of you may know that might not be a great score. So we're saying 23 megabits per second. So Mr. Demarat says he has high-speed internet at his home, but it doesn't look like he has high-speed internet at his home. Humph. So my hypothesis was disproven. It is not faster. It is not slower. It is nothing. So it's okay for your hypothesis to be wrong. In fact, it's perfectly fine. What's garbage is lying about your data. Interesting. So I went further, this. But every experiment calls for a new experiment. So let me go back. So what I changed, the only thing I changed in this experiment was, it's called an independent variable, was my distance from the router. The only thing I changed. So right now, Mr. Demarats is going to do a second experiment real quick. Because, of course, when he was setting this up for his students, thought to himself, maybe my Wi-Fi is trash. So let me go to the Speed Smart app. Okay. Hopefully that looks okay to you guys. It might be it backwards. That's right. My iPhone came in at 117 megabits per second, or almost 5 times faster than my Hanover County School laptop. Humph. So I do have high-speed internet in my house. Well, it's just the iPhone, right? It's just the iPhone. So what Mr. Demarats did this summer, I got myself a Chromebook from Best Buy. $149 megabits per second. So, spoiler alert, students, the new Chromebooks that the school division just mailed you, if you go to speedsmart.net, they do just fine. The discovery of all this science is the wireless mechanism on my school computer is really slow. It doesn't grab Wi-Fi very well. And that is something you guys can keep investigating. What devices? Maybe it's not distance from the router, but it's the device that you're using. Compare. Look at the speeds. What is faster? What is slower? Take a look at this. Be a scientist. Think scientifically. Is the Wi-Fi faster at certain times a day? If I try to do my schoolwork at 7 a.m. when no one's streaming Netflix, is it easier than when everyone's streaming Netflix and gaming and TikToking and uploading and YouTubing and streaming? That's Wi-Fi. So maybe we learned something today. Maybe if someone in your house has an old iPhone and someone has a new iPhone, are those speeds different? Interesting. Chromebook that I just used is a good Chromebook, but it was only like $450. It's that much faster. This is interesting. So hopefully I have sparked an interest. That's what science is supposed to do. Spark an interest. Question what's going on. Look at this. Try to understand it. All right. Now let me turn off my wonderful Screencastify. And thank you for viewing this.